Hello. As some of you know, I turned 20 very recently. I've waved goodbye to my teenage years once and for all, and I've been trying to work out if I miss them. In one sense, I do. I've had a lot of great experiences during these years, and they'll stay with me for the rest of my life. But there are other senses in which I definitely do not miss being a teenager. And one thing that makes me sure about that is the need to be cool. There was a debate in the Facebook comments of my last video, but one thing that we all agreed on is that social pressures exist everywhere in life. But there are lots of people who find secondary school really difficult because of the pressure to be popular. I went through that stage myself, though not for long, and I know that it can be really difficult when people seem to be liked for being a certain way and you don't fit into that. I think there's possibly material for a whole other video there, but for now I want to focus on what happens after that. I know it's different for everyone, but in my experience, things change after secondary school. One of the biggest criteria for being popular at that age seems to be a casual attitude. You can be cool if you don't really like anything in particular, or you like it in a sort of ironic way. And that's where the term nerd comes in. For me, nerds are people who allow themselves to enjoy and like things unironically. Whether you're enthusiastic about maths or love painting Warhammer figures, even if you're obsessed with cricket, I'd say on some level that makes you a nerd. And in a high school type environment, that can be seen as a negative thing, because you're not trying to pretend you don't like things, like the popular kids are. Now, I'm not a very self-conscious or socially anxious person, and I decided pretty early on that I didn't care what other people thought of me. But it wasn't really until college that being a nerd became a socially encouraged thing. I've always enjoyed sci-fi and fantasy, and I played Yu-Gi-Oh! When it came along as a craze. But at college, I found lots of friends who liked the same things. I got into tabletop gaming, I started learning Magic the Gathering, and since then, it's just felt natural to be as enthusiastic about everything as possible. I am a paying member of 3 societies at uni: role-playing games, board games, and improv. And the best way to describe all 3 collectively is that they're societies that let me still be a kid. They involve a lot of pretending and make-believe, and I love doing that. In Dungeons & Dragons, I get to be an elf who can cast spells to help me and my friends defeat huge monsters. In improv, my friends and I can create worlds of our own on the spot, and we get to play the characters who inhabit those worlds. I hate it when society tells adults that you can't pretend or have an imagination unless you are a kid or you have one. But children are naturally enthusiastic about things, and they can't be ironic about it. And I really enjoy being part of things that enable me to still have that enthusiasm in my life. One of the big things that I've realised, and I think a lot of people realise since leaving secondary school, is that the concept of cool doesn't really exist. Or if it does, it's not a specific term. It applies to everything subjectively, not just this single group of people who are liked because they appear not to like anything. So to me, that's what a nerd is. Someone who allows themselves to be genuinely excited and enthusiastic about the things that they love. It took a lot of strength to stop caring about what other people think of me and the things I do. But I have to remind myself that I have a lot more fun now. That's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like if you did, and I'll see you next week.